Another legislator, Pennsylvania House Speaker Brian Cutler, received daily voicemails from Trump's lawyers in the last week of November.
Mr. Speaker, this is Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis. We're calling you together because we'd like to discuss, obviously, the election.
Hello, Mr. Speaker. This is Jenna Ellis, and I'm here with Mayor Giuliani.
Hey, Brian, it's Rudy. I really have something important to call to your attention that I think really changes things.
Cutler felt that the outreach was inappropriate and asked his lawyers to tell Rudy Giuliani to stop calling, but Giuliani continued to reach out.
I understand that you don't want to talk to me now. I just want to bring some facts to your attention and talk to you as a fellow Republican.
Now, look, the fact that someone had to approach their lawyers to try to get Rudy Giuliani to stop calling them is hardly unique to the insurrection. I'm sure he has had to start many calls to his family by saying, look, I understand you don't want to talk to me. But that's the situation for Rudy Giuliani. The issue, though, is that this is him and Jenna Ellis, who, for whatever reason, were the best lawyers that Donald Trump could put together to try to overturn the results of an election, despite his billions of dollars. Those were the best he had, were pressuring anyone they thought could be influenced, generally Republicans, in this case, a speaker, to try to get them to do something that would result in Trump winning states that he obviously lost. And with all that we know about the dozens and dozens of court cases that they launched in the immediate aftermath of the 2020 election, the fact that they were also doing this personal outreach isn't super surprising. I mean, we know that they had pressured people in Georgia to find votes so that he could win there. Presumably they were doing it in other states too, but it doesn't look great for them that that they would argue that all they need to do is present their evidence. Well, they had their opportunity in court in time after time after time. Why are they talking to political actors to try to bring them over? I don't think that looks good. But Alonzo, what do you think?
John, I have to be honest with you. I had to tell Rudy Giuliani to stop calling me. Rudy just won't, he just won't let it go. No, it is comical, right? But it's unfortunate that it's real. I mean, this is one of those things, this entire insurrection, the panel, the whole thing could play out like it was some TV show, right? But this really happened. My big problem with the January 6th committee is, what are you gonna do? I've said this before, I don't wanna see hearings, I wanna see perp walks. I wanna see indictments, and unfortunately, you know as well as I do, we're not gonna see that. We're not gonna see the main people involved, led by Donald Trump, ever get arrested or held responsible for this. So it's a lot of talk, and you know what? It's not like Watergate. Like with Watergate, something happened. The president resigned in shame, and the media exposed this entire plot to undermine the Democratic Party, right? Well, now we have all that. We have all the information. There's no new information coming out here. There's new details. He made this phone call. She pressured somebody. Yeah, but we know what happened. Sure. No one is getting prosecuted. No one is being held accountable. When you talk about why did Trump have Rudy and these lawyers, because they're the only ones who would work for free, because Donald Trump's notorious for not paying people. Let's add that to the list of things that he's known to do. Even his so-called friends and protectors know that they're not getting paid if they do work for Donald Trump. So that's why he has Rudy making these calls. But yeah, I don't want to see the hearings. I want to see the January 6th perp walks.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Maybe they have a secret tape that will have something that will break through. I don't know what would have to be on a tape to convince Republicans that they've gone too far. What could you find on the tape that would be worse than the tape that we had in real time of what was happening on January 6th? I don't think that there is anything, honestly. I don't know if Donald Trump was on like a call, like he'd left a voicemail saying, so I heard that you were a hitman. I'm looking to have Mike Pence killed. I can pay around 5,000 or so. Like if that came out, I don't think Tucker Carlson would turn on him. I don't know that anything would. And you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about consequences, and they haven't been there.
If that call was made, Mike Pence would actually say, no, he was just kidding. It's a joke we play.
He's a joker,
Mike Pence would defend him on that one.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm so happy to say when I've gotten predictions wrong. Like, I didn't think on the eve of the Russian invasion of Ukraine that they were gonna do it. But we also have to acknowledge when we as a movement were right. Like when in advance of the 2020 election, when Trump kept saying when he'd be asked, are you gonna accept the results of the election? And he kept saying no. And we'd be like, hey, that seems like a bad thing. Kind of seems like he's not gonna accept the peaceful transfer of power. And then we were shouted down like, oh, you're being ridiculous. Obviously, he's gonna. No, he didn't. And when we said nothing was gonna be done about it, nothing was done about it. Like nothing bad has happened to Trump other than losing the election. Since he came down that escalator, that is the one bad thing that has happened to Donald Trump. And even that was a couple of years ago. So I need more consequences and I need them. What have you done for us lately, DOJ?
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.